Good afternoon, everyone. We're just waiting for Dave to join us, and we will be underway. Where is Dave? There he is. I think he's there. Dave, you there? Dave, is that you?
Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you. Yes.
I seem to have come through on some a weird link that I don't normally come through on.
Apparently so. Apparently so. But you are in good right now, correct? There you are.
There we go. That's better.
Awesome. Welcome back. Welcome back.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah, it's good to be back after missing last week as well. I take it no camera, you're on the move, Barry. Is that right?
I'm gonna be, yes, I'll be. I will open up the camera a little later. I want to apologize to everyone that I am on the road today. Well, I shouldn't say that. I am going to be on the road momentarily, and in light of that, I figured we'll keep the camera off until we get settled in on the train. So I just brought Mr. B Fox into the mix as well. B is holding down the fort in the studio, and hopefully we can see him come to life. And yeah, it's great to have you back. We missed you last week.
Missed you too.
I'll make a quick cameo appearance here.
What's up, dude? The man himself.
There I am.
Hey, B, I can hear you very faintly there in the background.
Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, it sounds like you're miles away. I know you are miles away, but you sound very quiet.
You need to unmute yourself.
Let's see.
In any event, we hope everyone is doing well, and I'm going to run through a couple of things here in just a moment, but wanted to just make sure everyone is aware. Apparently, I've gotten notice that the chat is working, so that's great. So if you want to connect with us and you want to participate, please raise your hand, and we will do our best to call you in. You can send a question or post something in the Q&A, or you can also send us a message to the chat, which I understand is working. So you there, Dave?
I certainly am.
Okay, I thought I lost you there. Okay, so yeah, so we missed you last week, but we held down the fort, and we gave away some blind poet merchandise as well.
Did you really? I never knew
Yes.
this.
Yes, we gave away some blind poet merchandise, and yeah, it was.
I'm wearing my blind poet merch today. I have a blind poet hoodie on.
Nice. So we gave away some blind poet. Hoodies as well.
Fantastic. Who did they go to?
One went to Derek, our good friend Derek.
Awesome.
Another went to. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm trying. I'm trying to. I'm on my. Okay, I'm sorry. Another went to. One went to Derek. One went to Tia, our guest speaker last week, and
Awesome.
Another went to Travis.
Oh wow, great, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope we're going to see some kind of photographic evidence when they do receive them of them
sure we will. I'm sure we will. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we will. It's.
I'd like to see a picture of Travis at Home Depot wearing his wearing
Oh,
his
that
wife.
would be cool. That would be cool. That would be very cool. Yeah, I would love to see that as well. So, Dave, I'm going to hand it over to you right now to kick things off while I arrange an Uber for myself.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm going to kick it off with a piece of poetry, and then we've got some pretty cool stuff to talk about this week. I want to read some of the poems that I had kind of lined up for last week, and speak about something pretty special. But I'm going to need to bring someone on to do that in a minute. But I'm going to read you a piece of poetry that I wrote literally a couple of days ago now. And quite often when we've talked about the poetry on these team poetry chats of ours, Barry and B will often pick out lines that really kind of stand out to them. With this piece of poetry, I don't need them to do that because I already know the line that's going to stand out. Someone actually said to me the other day about possibly getting the last 4 lines of this poem as a tattoo. But I could see it being used in artwork and things like that. So it's one of those, when I just wrote it, I was just like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And it really does say a lot. This one's called Who I Am, and it goes like this. When the doctor told me all I see would slowly disappear, I felt inside a change in me. I felt consumed by fear. A million questions in my head with answers yet unknown. But onto page this poet bled, to show we're not alone. His voice that came from inside of mine began to heal the wounds that darkness put inside my heart and anxious chest consume. And with the words he spoke through me, I found a way to cope, a message in a bottle sent around the world with hope. Without these times, these rhymes of mine would not be here today. They've given me my purpose back. This journey led the way. For now I find, though almost blind, I'm happier by far. Life's challenges don't take from us, but make us who we are. There we go. B, are you there?
I'm here, brother. I'm
hey,
here.
how you doing? Good. Oh, there we go. Good to see you. Good to hear your voice. Sorry I missed you guys last week. Really missed you. Love to have been there. But I heard, and I've not seen the video yet. I'm sure it's going to go up at some point for last week's episode. As far as I hear, we had a fantastic special guest that I lined up, Tia. So I can't wait to rewatch that or watch it back and see what you guys got up to. But yeah, how was it?
First of all, you were very missed. You're very missed. You're felt in spirit. And we celebrated Valentine's Day. We celebrated the love that we have as a community for one another. But we definitely shouted out to you like 15 times at least. So I hope that you heard us. Tia's magnificent.
Yeah. It was great. I believe she was a really good guest, and was there a lot of questions? Can you kind of fill me in on what happened?
Yeah. Well, obviously, my man Travis was there, and he absolutely brought the energy that he is famous for on Valentine's Day celebration. So, it was interesting. I myself got pretty vulnerable for that topic, which I said, man, Dave, did you just throw me the hardball of hosting on this particular day for the fact that, I myself have been reconsidering what the structure of my family life is going to look like, and Valentine's Day was an appropriate day to talk about that. So I was grateful for the opportunity. But we had some other people that came in, and we had some vulnerable shares and some vulnerable questions. You might be pleased to hear this, Dave. The ladies gave us some love and appreciation of the fact that for a guy dating, I'm not saying this, but other people said it might be a little tougher for the gentleman trying to go out and date with vision loss. I don't know, because as you know, I haven't been dating. But I appreciated that some other people from the sisters in our group that shared some appreciation for the struggle. And then some people shared some of their own experiences with dating as well. The end result is I think that we all got inspired to revisit the way that we look at our love lives. And I think that's always a good and appropriate thing to do.
Absolutely. I mean, it was kind of where I wanted to go with it when I originally had the idea of bringing Tia on. And, I wanted to speak not only about, the love that we have for family and our relationships, but also the love for, what we do in our lives and everything we do. I did an interview last week, and one of the questions was, what advice would you give to someone who wanted to start writing or wanted to start raising awareness, whether it be through poetry or music or getting out there and doing something. And I just remember saying that, whatever you do it, wherever you do it from, whatever you do in life, do it from a place of love, do it from a place of heart and honesty. And, if you do that, you will be successful. I've spoken about before, we tell our children, if you can find something to do for a living that you are passionate about and you genuinely love, then you will never work a day in your life. And, it's about being lucky enough and working hard enough to get, something that you've got a passion for and a talent for to do. And not many people get the opportunity to do that. And I've always counted myself lucky that throughout my life, with my previous work as a singer, and obviously what I do now, that I've succeeded most in my working life when I have worked from a place of love. And I'm glad we kind of touched on that last week.
It's interesting, and I wanted to say this. You talked about putting your heart upon the pages, or even, bleeding your heart out upon the pages.
Absolutely.
That is from the heart in a very visual way. I'd also like to say it's interesting as an artist, but as we live, we're all artists with the days that we live. And those of us that recognize one another on this journey, it's because our hearts resonate together. And there's something interesting about finding our voice as artists that we've talked about in our private talks. And I'm really grateful for you helping me to understand that finding the struggle, it's not the things that are taken away from us. Again,
absolutely.
It's the things that are added to us from the struggles. And it's like finding your voice, there's a depth to a person's voice once they found it.
Well, I mean, I knew that you were going to pick out those last lines from that poem, which, as it just says what you've just said. Life's challenges don't take from us, but make us who we are. And I just, when I wrote that, I was just like, once again, I'm sat on my shoulder, speaking the words to me. And there was something I wanted to share with you last week, and I never got the opportunity to do so. And I've not spoke about this with you purposely. I've not even spoke about with Barry, actually. I want to do something now. Let me just check if I can, because I want to create a moment. And I want to make sure I can. We've got lots of people on the call tonight, which is great to see. You, Ben, have the ability to bring someone on for me, don't you?
Oof.
I'm sure you do. You do from that side. I just want.
I'm here. I'm here.
Barry, can you do me a favor? And I'm sure it won't be an issue. I don't mind. I'm sure she won't mind me putting her on the spot. But could we bring Doreen on?
Sure.
Whether it be video, or if she's comfortable to do that at the moment, depending on where she is, or just audio.
Sure. Hold on one second. I'm going to promote Doreen to a panelist right now. And by the way, Travis does have his hands up, and we promised him we would hear all about his outing on Valentine's Day. And we want to know if he had the garlic fries or the sweet potato fries.
And I believe you've got something to share as well that you shared with me yesterday.
Oh yes, I do. I think we're gonna share. I think we're gonna hold that till the end.
Okay, cool. So you've been warned there. Anyone that's on the call, stick with us till the end, because we got a pretty cool surprise coming up at the end of this hour. But we're just waiting on Doreen coming on, hopefully.
Yep, I've just asked Doreen to unmute herself. And Doreen, you there? She should
Doreen, are
be
you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We certainly can. Coming in loud and clear, Doreen. Lovely to hear you. Are you okay?
I'm good.
You don't mind me putting you on the spot and bringing you on, do you?
Wait a minute. Let me turn my volume up. Okay. What are you putting me on the spot for?
Well, okay. So, B, you still there?
Oh, I am. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hey,
Good.
Doreen.
Good,
Do you
good.
know about this, first of all? Do you know about this?
I don't.
No,
This is
no,
the
no. He
first
knows
time I
nothing.
meet you.
No, I'm the only person who knows what I'm about to do.
Okay.
It's not. Don't get panicky. It's nothing major. So we were just talking about doing things from a place of love, from the heart, and Doreen, you are the epitome of that. Every day, anyone that's on my friends list every day will see Doreen tagging me every morning. She's up bright and early, like 5 o'clock, and she'll tag me in a post, something to inspire me, whether it be a beautiful photo of a sunrise or a sunset, or some beautiful scenery from the gorgeous Rhode Island, or a quote that will set me up and inspire me for the day. And now you're even tagging Amy in, so you're really
Yes.
you're really there for us in a lot of ways. And as I said, you inspire me in lots of ways since we started meeting. And I always try and write from a place of heart, as I said. And I've been writing now for 6 years, and I've written over 900 poems, and generally they're all about low vision and sight loss. But Doreen came to me with a challenge about a week ago, which I really, if you don't mind me talking a little bit about, explaining about.
No.
Okay. So, Doreen, could you kind of explain to B and Barry and everyone out that's listening the message that you sent me, and then after we've spoke about it and explained why, I'll read what I did.
Oh, so February 10th is the saddest day of my life, because the nun that started the soup kitchen, her name was Sister Fran. She was the most inspirational person in my life. She started the soup kitchen. She found the good in everybody, even if it was a smile. I mean, sometimes we're dealing with all kinds of people, and one night somebody threw an orange at somebody, hit him in the head. So she said, well, we got to make him say he's sorry. I said, oh no, sister, just let him go home. No, that's not teaching him anything. So I said, okay. So we go over. He starts swearing, I'm sorry. I'm like, she goes, well, at least he said he was sorry. So she struggled with a lot. She had bone cancer, and then she had leukemia, and she died in 2008. She was only 65 years old. And on her deathbed, she called me into the hospital, and she made me promise that I would carry on the mission of the soup kitchen. And I've been there 30 years. And I carried it on, but I was selfish. I didn't want her to go. And she said, do you think that you came into the soup kitchen by accident? And I said, I don't know. And she said, no. She said, not to get all holy. She said, but God put you there. She said, because he knows I needed you. And I've been there ever since, and I never broke that promise. So I wrote to Dave and I said, this day, I will never love anybody like that again, other than my family, because it hurts way too much. But what she taught me, I could be on here all night telling you what she taught me. So I asked Dave to write a short poem about her. And he said to me, what would you say? And this is exactly what I wanted. What would you say if you could see her today? And I wrote it, and it just flowed. And what he wrote I still can't get through it without crying. And it was the most beautiful thing. So my friend is a calligrapher, and she's gonna put it in calligraphy, and I'm gonna post it. And
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
She was just so inspirational. She didn't care. She hugged people that didn't smell very good, didn't dress very good. She didn't care. And now I'm that person. I don't care. I don't care what you do, what you smell like. You know, if you want me to hug you, I'm going to hug you. And I was influenced by her and inspired by her. And I wrote to Dave after he wrote the poem. And I said, you didn't come into my life by accident either, and you inspired me. So how you inspire people is incredible, and you have no idea how you do it, and that you're even doing it.
The voice on the shoulder. And
Yeah.
that's exactly, I've been approached a couple of times to write pieces of poetry about people or for a certain situation that's not directly linked to low vision and sight loss. I've not done it very often. And no pressure. You literally said to me, you said, could I write this piece of poem for tomorrow? And Barry, as I'm sure you'll know what I'm going to say next. Literally about half an hour after she messaged me, I sent her the piece of poetry.
Of course.
Doreen did an amazing job of writing basically her relationship with Sister Fran and what she meant to her and what she'd say to her and what Sister Fran said to her. And you described it beautifully there. So, I know that when I read this piece of poetry, that people will understand it perfectly. So it's no title, obviously, but I'd like to read it for you now.
Oh, yes.
Okay, here we go. It seems like only yesterday since I sat beside your bed, for etched upon my heart and soul are those words to me you said. You asked me if I'd promise that your work I'd carry on and take the things from me you've learned to others, pass them on. You took my hand and said to me, my work on earth is done. Remember me not from this time, but all those times of fun. The movie nights and days my sight would get us in a jam. The times today I miss with you have made me who I am. The soup kitchen will be forever your own legacy. You made it for our guests a place that they could be happy. We left our problems at the door. In here, we're all the same. The kindness that we give to them can heal the hardest pain. You changed the lives of everyone who stepped inside that door and changed the person that I am from then forevermore. Though 18 years have passed since you left me, Sister Fran, I remember that you taught me all these things are in God's plan. So today we celebrate your life and echo your life's call. We may not have it all together, but together we have it all, which was the phrase that she was known for saying.
That is the most beautiful thing I ever read. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, listen, I just wanted to bring you on. Sorry to put you on the spot, but I just wanted to bring on and say thank you for inspiring me every day and for what you do, and everything that you do with the people there in Rhode Island. And I know it's so appreciated. And I said be right at the beginning, creating a moment. It takes 20 minutes for me to write a piece of poetry like that, which will last a lifetime. And it doesn't take, a second to show kindness or do something from the heart. And that's what that's about.
Thank you so much.
B, can you want to chime in?
I love that. I got to tell you, this is the first. I started crying before the poetry.
I know.
That story, Doreen, the story from your heart, just really got me in this relationship you have with Sister Fran, now
Yes.
immortalized in poetry. And boy, what a moment that was just created. I
And
mean,
it's just that's the power of poetry. How, you know, from the way we can write it, we can put ourselves sat next to Doreen or sat with Doreen and Sister Fran at the side of the bed. And, you know, unlike anything, that music and poetry really brings you into the story, doesn't it? And makes you feel every emotion that Doreen felt and it was there. So it was,
Sister Fran's hand in my hand.
yeah, absolutely. And I she was with me when I wrote it. So
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
I'm crying
Barry, you there?
already.
I am here. I am here. That
Anything
was
you'd
a
like to add?
no, it's just Doreen. Thank you so much for sharing that story. You're literally getting chills, you know, hearing it, and then to hear Dave express it, you know, brings it up on a whole nother level.
It does.
Sounds like, you know, Sister Fran was just really an incredible individual,
She was.
and I'm sure that I know that you're carrying, you know, her legacy through the work that you're doing every day. So
Thank you.
just keep up the great work.
I've got another one to do very, very shortly. Something that's already written. As you, I'm sure you're aware, Barry. It's going to be our good friend Lanny's memorial soon.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going to be recording. Sharon reached out to me yesterday, and I'm going to be recording a special video for the memorial of me reading the poem that I wrote for Lanny. With some words. So I've got to kind of gather myself to do that one, which is going to be, you know,
Yep. Not so simple.
Yeah. But yeah, it's something that I cherish that I'm able to kind of do. So.
Yeah, it's going to come up on March 19th.
Yep.
Lanny's memorial 1 year anniversary memorial. I do want to say, by the way, since you haven't seen last week's TM Poetry, I actually did read poetry throughout the hour.
Oh wow! Did you? You read
Yes.
my poetry, or
I read your poetry.
wow.
There is no other poet. I don't know any other poetry.
Poetry at 4 o'clock Eastern. So I mean, we had to have poetry, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, it's and not just I didn't read just one. I read multiple.
Fantastic.
I believe we went through volume 3. I literally closed my eyes, you know,
and picked a page.
I
love that.
Yeah, exactly. And the crazy thing is just they were very appropriate as far as to, you know, the topic of last week. And so, you know, it just worked out perfectly.
Well, just going on that, Doreen, we still got you there.
Yes.
Yes, she's still here.
I want to kind of make you smile now.
Okay. Thank you.
We're going to change it up. I want to make you smile. So last week, you know, and we're carrying on that theme this week with the kind of, you know, coming from a place of love and everything else. And we're going to be hearing about, you know, with Travis about how he got on Valentine's and everything else. I had some poetry lined up, and some that has been featured in some of my books, and some that hasn't. Not just written by me, and I want to read you this piece of poetry now, which it's going to put a smile on your face. And it wasn't written by me. It was written by Amy.
Oh.
Because you may, you know, those of you who got the books, you will see that in volume 2 and volume 3, the last piece of poetry at the end of the books were written by Amy. And it's something that she's kind of really taken to. And sometimes she writes a piece of poetry and I'll go, damn, I wish I wrote that. And she wrote this, and it's funny, we actually I have you on while I read this. There's a film called Ted, which I'm sure you're aware of. Ted, do you know the film Ted with the talking teddy bear?
Mm-hmm.
Mark Wahlberg.
And I believe that's set in. Is that not set in Rhode Island?
Yeah.
Or Boston? He's in Boston, isn't he? He's in Boston. And there's a scene in the first film Ted where he's in bed with is it Mark? Is it? Who's the actor that's in it?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. He's in bed with Mark Wahlberg, and they talk about being Thunder Buddies. I don't know if any of you've seen it. There's a reference to Thunder Buddies. Anyway, myself and Amy, we call each other Thunder Buddies. And this one's called Thunder Buddies, and I'd like to read it for you now. I lay here looking in your eyes as sight it ebbs away, and right here looking in your eyes is where I'll always stay. On days when you can't face the world, I'll hold you, calm your fears. And on the days I'm struggling, you'll always wipe my tears. Your strength is just incredible. Your heart, your soul, your mind. You truly are the soulmate I thought I'd never find. I'm growing ever prouder of the way you share your heart. And believe me when I tell you, darling, this is only just the start. You push me when I need it. You hold me when I'm sad. And in case I haven't told you lately, you're a goddamn awesome dad. Through dark days and through sunshine, through happiness and strife, we'll be here standing side by side, Thunder Buddies for life.
Love it.
I thought that just make you smile. Makes me smile. There we go.
Thank you.
So, Doreen, we'll send you back so you can not be embarrassed. Thank you very much for continuing to be a part of Seeing Poetry. Obviously, we won't see you next week because you'll be probably getting beautified.
No, that was last week.
Or was that last week? Was it? So we got a couple of weeks yet before you miss us. Once again, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for inspiring me. I'm glad that I could do that for you.
Thank you.
Take care, Doreen.
Also.
Thank you. Let me figure out how to send you back. All right. Doreen is going back. All right. We ready to bring on Travis here for a minute?
Of course. Always.
All right. Always. All right, Travis. Gonna bring you in. And by the way, last week, we got Travis to put on his video.
Hello.
Hey, Travis, how are you?
Good. How about you?
Doing good, pretty good.
That's great, Barry. Hey, real quick, before we cut to the chase about Valentine's Day, did you get the email I sent you at all yet last night?
Yes, I did. I sure did.
Okay, good. Because I apologize for that lateness. I thought, oh no, I got to get my address out.
Yes, I have that. We're all good.
Great. I will watch for a package in the next week then, basically, the apparel, basically.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
All right. Yeah, so hey, you want to hear about my Valentine's Day, I assume, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Valentine's Day was, definitely different this year because of the COVID-19 stuff, but it was a great one. And my BFF, who I talked about last week, who I work with, Kelly, she had to work that day, unfortunately. So what I did, like I talked about, is I brought in lunch, during her lunch hour, for both of us. From that burger place I was telling you guys about, Sylvester's, and she was really surprised what I brought. And the burger I had was something called the Black and Blue Burger, which is a beef patty, bacon, and blue cheese on it.
Nice.
Oh, you know that, huh? Look at that, Dave. Look at that.
And I had garlic fries with it. Well, Kelly had the California burger with bacon, avocado, and cheddar cheese with sweet potato fries. And we both had chocolate malts to drink.
I'm now officially hungry.
And of course, let's not forget the gift exchange that took place too.
Ooh.
For Kelly, I gave her a purple orchid with heart-shaped leaves on top. Purple leaves.
Aren't you the sweetest?
Thanks. And then of course a card, because what's the Valentine's Day gift without a card and a letter? So gave her that, and I gave her some homemade banana nut bread that my family and I made with some cream cheese frosting, and some homegrown oranges I got from my brother, sister-in-law. And then to me, I got a card, of course, with a note, and I received a balloon, a heart-shaped balloon that's shiny with white, pink, and red on it. And I got a jellyfish crystal glass for my light stand that changes colors.
You went all out.
And I got
did.
Yes, and as far as chocolate goes, let me ask you guys this. You guys probably don't have it in Maryland or anything, but how many of you have heard of See's Candy?
Oh, the best.
Yep,
Oh,
I got
yeah.
a pink heart-shaped box of chocolates from See's Candy.
Ooh. Dave, See's Candy is a West Coast operation
Yep.
that is just incredible chocolates and all sorts of other goodies. So,
Well,
Oh man,
you'll
for
have to add that to
indulging.
the list of places to kind of go or sample from. I
yeah.
know when I first came out to the States for the tour in the end of 2019, the one place that Barry was desperate to get me to was the I can't remember the name of the place now. It's in the cupcake
bakery.
store.
Yeah, Magnolia.
Magnolia, yeah.
I know the name.
Apparently it's like world famous.
Yeah, so that particular location actually shut down due to COVID in the station.
Yes.
But there is a new Magnolia that's opening up in the new station that I was talking about in New York. That's going to be opening up in a few months. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Oh
good.
man.
Yeah, great cupcakes. Great cupcakes.
I can
my-
ask you, Travis. So, what did you think of last week's guest, of Tia?
I have to say, Tia is absolutely a nice person. Very upbeat, even though what she's been going through the last couple of years. But I'm telling you, she's definitely will be the friendliest for sure. Especially if she participates at certain meetings in the future. And
Well,
any meeting.
I'm going to give you a little scoop here. We have a super special guest lined up, not next week, but the week after, the 3rd of March.
Okay.
Wednesday, the 3rd of March. I know you won't miss Tea and Poetry anyway, but
Nope.
Be ready for the guest we have that I've got lined up for the 3rd of March. It is going to be epic.
Okay.
Epic.
Perfect. Excellent. I'll make sure I'm available that day.
Looking forward to that. I'm
Wow.
curious who it is.
You know who it is.
Me
I
too.
do?
I've told you already, Barry.
I don't even remember. Uh-oh.
Okay, I won't.
You have to
I'm
ping
not going
me
to
on
give you
this.
any clues on air because I don't want to kind of give it away in case anyone guesses.
Maybe now it's slowly coming back to me.
Someone who is a big influence on the early part of my story.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Person. Oh yeah. You guys.
No, don't guess.
Don't guess. No, don't give it away. We don't.
Hold on.
Just wait and see. We can talk another time. Be off air.
All right.
So Travis, no garlic fries. It was all sweet potato fries. That's the way to go.
See, no, I had garlic fries. Kelly had sweet potato fries.
All right. I'm gonna. We appreciate the update. We always love to hear from you. I'm gonna send you back as an attendee, but if you want to come back later, we'll do our best to bring you back on. And guys, I apologize for the background noise here in the train station. So good to hear from you, Travis.
Definitely, and I'll watch for the package from you guys too. So
I want to see pictures once you get it.
I'll email them to you.
Awesome. Awesome. All righty, Travis. Be well.
You too.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, Barry.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
So
let's put it out there. If anyone wants to come on and say hello, that hasn't done so for a while, please do. Raise your hand or send us a little message in the chat if you want Barry to bring you in. B.
Yes. Oh, B. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So B, you there?
I can't hear you very well.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So it was there's a lot of background noise from obviously Barry being at the train station. I'm going to read another piece of poetry while we're waiting to see if anyone else wants to come in. Once again, it's one that I meant to read last week. I had a few lined up. Kind of fits with what we're talking about. Love of friends, love of family, and the relationships that we have. That I'm sure a lot of people will be familiar with the things that I talk about. This one was actually featured in, I think, Stand By Me RP Volume 2. And it goes like this. My love is so protective. She watches out for me. She makes sure I get out each day, despite this damn RP. She knows just when to guide me and when to stand alone. She even knows when I need space to soul recharge at home. I know that I can't see too much, but in her eyes I do. I see the pride she has in me to start each day anew. She tries to hide her feelings, the fear that fills her heart, though nothing that this blindness brings will tear our love apart. I know in me she's patient, as frustration in me grows. What I find hard to say sometimes, one look, I know she knows. But if she saw the picture, the sight that now remains, I'm scared that she would fall apart, give in to all that pains. Our children give us focus. They lift the haze and blur. We think of all good times to come, not on just how things were. Although some days in future, I know I may not see. In blindness, I'll never be alone with my love and my family. And do you know who that poem reminds me of as I'm reading that?
Do tell.
Sedona Dave. It just reminds me of that film that you made. It's a lot of those kind of familiar relationships of, knowing our partners, and I know Dave's partner, wife is exactly like that. Knowing when to give space, when to help, and it can be difficult at times. And I think our friends, our good friends, those that are close to us, those that see the rawness of how it can be some days, when we're having those bad eye days that we talk about when we're struggling, how it affects us, and knowing when to help, when to give us space, when to speak, when to stay quiet, when to support, when to, just let us find the strength ourselves to kind of pick ourselves up. And it's difficult. So yeah. If there's anyone else out there would like to come on and kind of add and talk about the things that we're talking about today, raise your hand and the chat and come on. Is anyone out there? I can't see.
On that point, Dave, it's interesting to me, the line that I think probably took a lot of vulnerability to write about, these aren't the exact words, the words I remember, but if you could only see the picture of the side I have left.
Yeah, I remember writing that.
Seriously.
I often say, like when I'm moments of real frustration, when I'm really struggling, or I knock something over, or I can't see something, and it's just that, it's like I say, if you could see through my eyes and see what I can actually see at the moment, I know you understand it, I know you get it, but if you could really see what I can and cannot see at the moment, but you wouldn't, you can't, at the same time, you probably wouldn't wish that on them. But sometimes I think when I do think it, it's just to try and maybe explain a bit more or gain a bit more understanding, because especially with something, for those, my RP sisters and brothers that are out there, a lot of times, and I'm sure other conditions can kind of relate to this as well, with invisible disability of low vision, it can be difficult for us to understand it, never mind someone close to us. I mean it's virtually impossible for people outside of our bubbles to understand it. Strangers in the street, we expect them to understand certain things, or we try and break down those misconceptions, but to actually really understand how 1 minute we can see some things, but then can't see others.
Right.
How complicated our eyes actually are. How many different things affect the way that we see the sunlight, the darkness, whether we're feeling stressed, whether we are run down, tired, ill, all these different things that have an impact on the way we see, right. And how it can change in an instant. Is something that's really difficult to explain, and sometimes it's difficult, as I said, for kind of us to understand. How I can be walking around my own home like you wouldn't know, obviously I knock things over, I'll bump into things, I'll walk into door frames, I'll, knock things over on occasions, but a lot of the other time when I don't doing those things, I'm walking around and you wouldn't know. So for someone who had never seen me in my home environment and they were coming to visit me in my home for the first time, who maybe saw me out with glasses on, sunglasses on, using a cane or with my guide dog, and then walked in or come to knock on at my house, and I opened the door and said, "Oh, come in," and walked into the kitchen and made them something, a cup of tea, and then walked upstairs and sat down and put the TV on. They'd be like, what's going on there? You're the blind guy outside of here, and in here you're not. And that environment doesn't have to be just my house. It could be a place that I'm familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's difficult. But I think sometimes we need to remember how difficult it can be, not just to strangers, but to those that are closest to us as well, because they can't see through our eyes.
It's true. Sometimes I feel like I need to be strong for other people to love me. When they ask me how my eyes are or how things are going, it's an automatic answer. Like, oh yeah, doing great. Eyes are great. Mm-hmm, doing good. And then you hear yourself say that though on a day that it's not, your eyes are not doing great. Your knees really hurt from like smacking them against 25 things already. And you've knocked down 25 glasses of water while you're trying to reach for your keyboard. I mean, it's not the greatest day. What do you do, Dave? Like, serious question. What do you do when you don't want to burden somebody you love who's also having a tough time, but you want to explain why you're not super chipper that day?
Like a friend.
Yeah. Like, for example, if you called me up and you were having a hard day and I want to be like somebody bring you up, but I'm having a hard day too. What would you do in a situation like that? When you want to be strong for somebody else, so you feel like you might need that help that day, you want to help them.
I'd maybe have a different mindset on it. I'd maybe feel like if I can share with you what's going on with me and how maybe struggle, that you'll share back with me. So if you turn around and say automatically, yeah, everything's fine. Oh, I'm good. With a friend, just because it's an automatic thing to say, they're going to do the same with you. Oh yeah, I'm good too. And you're not going to have that, it's only certain moments where we have those, especially guys, right? Guys are crap at, talking about this kind of stuff. Most guys, women will talk about everything. They'll get to the emotions. They'll sit around and they'll talk about stuff. Whereas we tend not to. So, my advice would be, don't be afraid of sharing. If you want to be strong for someone, share, because that's a sign of strength. Not brushing over it and just saying, yeah, everything's cool. It's actually stronger to say, yeah, I'm good, but I've been finding this hard recently, and talk, because if you share, then they'll share, and then you can be strong for them in such a better way than just kind of brushing it off and just saying, yeah, it's fine.
I hear that. It's good advice.
I mean, I do with you.
Yeah.
How many times have we had conversations away from here? And I'll say, I'll tell you, and then I'll say to you, I'm telling you because I hope you'll share back to me. We've had that conversation.
You had to teach me that though, Dave. Do you remember that? You called me up and I just, I'd want to not try to hide, but want to just be strong. Like, I did. Yeah.
But also, and I'm sure out there people can kind of relate to this as we're speaking, which is what I love about our conversations. And this is what tea and poetry to me is all about. It's a trust thing as well. I'm one of these people, to my detriment most of my life, where I trust and I have an open heart, and I love big, and I try and see the best in everything. We were talking about Sister Fran before, and all those kind of things that Sister Fran has passed on to Doreen. I've always kind of tried to be like that. And quite often, more often than not, I've been burned because of it. People will crap on you from a big height, let you down. But at the same time, no matter the pain it causes me, I won't let it change me. I've seen too many people harden up because of their past and experiences and because of the way they've been mistreated and people have done them wrong, and build up that wall and lose what they are. And I've always said that I will bleed onto the page or in my life and be hurt rather than cut myself off and not feel it. I've touched on my relationship with my ex and the relationship with my daughter from a previous relationship. Being obviously the distance between us and everything, and I've been through kind of court battles to keep access to my daughter and tried to have my sight used against me from my ex to fight for the relationship with my daughter and to remain as a father to her has caused me so much pain. So many tears have been shed in this house between me and Amy in that fight to remain to be a dad. And this, I'm sure a lot of people will kind of relate to this. But I would go through it all again, and I would keep going through it for those that I love, and to come from a place of heart, and and that's what it's all about. And that really sums up today. It's just I would not change the person I am just because people mistreated me. And as I said, you've just got to kind of be brave, be strong, and love and trust and share, and and then if you do that, you can make a real difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. You hear me there?
Hey, there he is.
I'm here. I'm on the train. I'm settled in. Sorry, I was. I actually bumped into an old friend. So it was.
So yeah, we the topic tonight, because sort of carrying on from last week. We come on these calls every week, and we talk about our lives, and we talk about the things that affect us in this world of the pandemic and low vision and everything else, and sharing hopefully makes a difference to people out there, and that's what I try and do every single day, whether it be through these things or the poetry. It's about sharing my feelings and my emotions and putting it into that form and hoping that other people can kind of relate and take something from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Can we do can you do like an open question in the chat?
Yeah, let me yeah, absolutely. So let me just let me go ahead. You have to
so the question I'd like to ask people, and they can either come on and talk about it, or they can just put in the chat, but let's get some kind of
I'm gonna create a poll. So you tell me the question, and then you'll.
Well, I don't know if it'd work as a poll, because it's not a closed question. It's an open question. Okay. It's an open question. What I would like people to do is tell me one thing, just one. You can tell me more than one, but tell me one thing that being a part of TM Poetry gives them. What does it mean to them? What does it bring into their life? Why do they keep coming back every week? What does this platform, the poetry and us being connected, what does it give to them?
You're right. I don't think we could put that in a poll.
No, definitely not. So raise your hand, put in the chat, come on and speak to us. Come and say hi. I know we've got some familiar faces out there. Don't be shy.
There are a lot of hands that are raised right now.
Okay, great.
Let's see here. And by the way, I am ready to share some something as well. But let me go ahead and
Yeah,
bring.
we are getting to that time.
I'm going to bring Allison on.
Perfect.
Allison, hey, I was going to call you in a little bit. We need to talk about our upcoming trip in April. Allison.
Hi guys.
Hey, Allison, how are
Allison.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's ironic though, Dave, because I was just gonna say the reason I keep coming back and I listen to tea and poetry is because it has made me want to share. You know, you've reached out to me several times, and through your honesty and your sincerity and just being there, it's helped tremendously, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. And you know, that just echoes what myself and B were just talking about. It's that if I can share, if I share, you will.
Right. But I don't think I've always felt that way. I think I more with, you know, oh, I'm good, you know, try to be strong for other people, be the positive one. But there comes a point where, especially the last, you know, for me personally, that's last month, really come to terms with my blindness and accepting it. And it's difficult, it's hard, but feeling more comfortable and confident and moving forward, and by talking with others about how you truly feel, it does help you. And that's what this gives me, this platform. So thank you to all of you.
And you helping others through the work that you do will help you in return as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, that pushes you on to kind of, and that's what it did for me. And you know, right from the start, you know, if I think about when I talk about those, you know, from the diagnosis, you know, nearly 7 years ago now, and that first kind of couple of years of writing, you know, where I was like, literally, I mean, God, if you guys could have seen me back then, writing at least 2 or 3 poems a day, every single day, 7 days a week for over a year, like a year and a half, nearly 2 years, writing constantly, to the point where if like I didn't write that day, it was like I was getting frustrated, and it would just spill out of me, and I'd write. And it was literally because every time that I wrote and every time that I shared and got a message from someone, that was helping me. If I found that the words I was writing was helping someone, that was then making me feel better. So when I was at my, you know, most tender and needed it the most, that was probably where I wrote the most. Which is where Stand By Me, the first book, came from, because that was the point where I was literally, you know, I needed to help more people in order to help me.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dave, you want to read through some of the comments in the chat?
I don't know if I'll be able to read them, but are you able to read them?
I am. Yes, I am. So from one person said, inspired, educational, connection, love. Another attendee, encouragement, support, to know you're not the only one dealing with vision loss. From another attendee, a community who understands the challenges and journey. I'm not the only one. TM Poetry brings me a sense of art, culture, and community with heart, insight and understanding, so I can be there for someone I love very much. Everyone that speaks inspires me and makes me want to come back. Wednesday is the highlight of my week. Fellowship. I mean, they keep coming in, and I think if you look at every single one of those words, they all mean something to everyone here. And this is, you know, as Allison says, the tribe, and you know, we've created just an incredible family here. And
I think that quite neatly brings you on to your announcement.
Okay, sounds good to me. Thank you. So Alice, I'll keep you on here. All right.
Okay.
So many of you know that I commissioned a handful of illustrations that would allow us, when I say us, myself, Ben Fox, Dave anyone in the community to be able to share these specific artwork that would create greater awareness for the sight loss community. So we came out, the first piece of art, which we call the Almost Blind Railway Station piece, features Ben Fox. That is a piece of art that talks about and highlights where just because you're living with sight loss, it doesn't mean you can't use a smartphone. And that came up, from the story from Ben as his own personal experience. We've had another illustration that created, which we're now using in packaging labels, that goes along with a quote from Helen Keller, and that has a family that is laying down in the grass, and they are stargazing, and the older male character is wearing a low vision aid device, looking up at the stars. So they're looking at the stars together as one family. There's the guide dog there as well. Also, a mobility cane tucked in. And then we have another illustration of a female hiker climbing up a mountain. And I am proud to share with everyone here for the first time that we now have a new illustration to add to this incredible, incredible collection, if you want to call it. And so we now have the Dave Steele, the Blind Poet TM Poetry illustration, which I am proud to unveil with everyone here. I'm going to go ahead and explain to everyone what's inside this illustration and what it looks like. So we'll go from left to right. The background is basically Dave sitting in a library. There are 4 windows with beautiful greenery in the background. There are flowers, there are a vase with flowers, blue flowers, sitting on the 2 windows to the right. But Dave is sitting on this big leather, comfortable chair, dark brown leather, and Dave is holding a coffee mug that has the BP Blind Poet logo on it. He is holding in his left hand a Stand By Me RP. It looks like volume 3, it looks like, because it's purple. And he has his iPad off to his right, and he's going through TM Poetry. Now, below Dave, we have Christopher. That's Dave's guide dog. He is sitting there, and I don't even want to say he's smiling away. We have also on the end table next to Dave, where the iPad is on the mount, there's also a photo of 3 kids next to a lamp. And we also have, moving further over to the right, we feature the 3 volumes of Stand By Me RP that are sitting on this coffee table, if you want to call it, next to Dave's mobility cane. So, and by the way, the whole background, again, we have 4 windows, but there are bookshelves just, full of books of many of Dave's writings and future writings that are on those bookshelves. So again, it's just an incredible piece that we commissioned, and I'm very proud to share here for the first time our family here. So hopefully everyone likes it. And I know it put a big smile on Dave's face earlier this week when I unveiled it with him. And
yesterday,
yeah, it's a surprise. And yep. And it's great to have these illustrations part of a collection now that we can all use and utilize them in a way to help express different parts of the puzzle here when it comes to sight loss.
So I want to ask something. I know we're kind of pushed for time now, so Barry, could you do one thing for me?
Sure.
I create a poll, and I would like to ask the question: who out there listening tonight would love to see that image on a coffee mug that you could all have and join us for tea? You could have a cup of tea in it or a cup of coffee in it, your own tea and poetry coffee mug. Who would like to own one of those if we could get that image put around a coffee cup or a mug?
I think it's a must. It's a must-have.
How cool would that be? As all sat there with the same cups for tea and poetry every week. You could have your own tea and poetry. You could put whatever you like in it. It could be tea. It could be coffee. It could be gin.
Have you on as a guest speaker?
You'd have to be wearing the blind dance hat and sweatshirt swag, right?
All right, let me go ahead and come back to the poll.
Oh.
Come back to, here we go. I'm going to launch it right now. Okay, guys.
So, would you
It's
like?
there and it's available. Yeah, the question is, would you like to see a TM Poetry coffee mug with the new illustration featured on the mug?
I don't know how I can answer it.
And it's anonymous, guys. So do you see where it's a,
Yeah,
well,
but
you
it's
find where
not
it says
allowing
poll?
me.
It says that hosts and panelists cannot vote, Barry.
Oh, well,
Oh,
count
that's
me
why.
in.
So
that's
Yeah,
because, that's
yeah,
because,
yeah.
yeah, that's
I'll
because you're
count
on.
you
So
in.
we'll send you back. Oh, I think we know what your
I'll send you
answer would
back
be
for that.
anyway,
How's that?
Alison.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll keep
I'm
you here. We'll
in.
keep you here. We'll keep you here. No, and we'll go through the results before we wrap things up. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And just as a if whoever has a level of remaining sight and you're having some difficulty maybe just envisioning what that might look like, I think I can help you out with that. Just give me here a moment. Let me see if we can make this happen. I think we could. Yeah. So I'm going to, yeah. All right. I'm coming back to you guys. Sorry about that. So, you know, perhaps something like that. You guys can see I do have an image of a coffee mug out there.
There we go. Look at that.
Nice.
Modern technology.
Yeah. So we'll keep that poll open. We do have a bunch of hands that are still raised, I believe. Yeah, well, maybe let's take a look through the chat here, by the way. Thank you, Dr. Mel, for your feedback. Sharon says yes on the mugs. So yeah, so we'll see. We will review the responses, which are overwhelmingly positive, and there's a good chance that we might see that come in the near future. So good stuff. Dave, you want to? Thank you, Philip. And Dave, you want to close it out with a piece of poetry?
Of course, always.
What am I saying? It's like you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to say a massive thank you once again to everyone who joined us for another great week at Team Poetry. I'm glad that I could be on this week, and I missed you all last week. Apologies for not being there. B, thanks once again for being part of a great hour, great conversation. And
being here, Dave. Love being on these hours. You really knock out of the park every week.
Yeah, big thanks to Doreen as well for coming on at the beginning, and obviously Travis as well for sharing that he had the garlic fries. And I'm going to leave you with this, and I hope you will all take this poem forward into tomorrow and the days to come until next week when we're all together again on Wednesday. Today, I will not be confined by blindness, blurry walls. I've recovered from these bruises, these accidents, these falls, the frustration living in me as I'm choosing to ignore. For today, I will not let nothing keep me home behind closed doors. I'm avoiding glare of sun and glare from strangers who accuse that just because I'm on my phone, this blindness is a ruse. They fail to see the spectrum of how sight loss does its thing, or how the little I have left don't mean that I can't bring. My unique gifts let balance shift the unemployment rate. Just because we have low vision doesn't mean we can't be great. So I will be the best of me, despite my fading eyes. Come join me on my mission no longer compromise.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you, B
Yeah.
Fox. Thank you, Allison, Doreen, everyone else who participated. I do want to say there are some additional illustrations that will be added to the collection in the near future as well. And look forward to sharing additional updates on them. Hope everyone likes them, and wish everyone a wonderful evening, afternoon. Yeah, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys next week.
Okay, safe trip.
Thank you
Take care,
very
guys.
much.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care,
Bye.
guys. See you. Bye.